This is hilarious. Steven Crowder's so angry. There's so much anger and frustration right now amongst the Republicans and the right because they thought they were like, first of all, they thought Trump was a shoo-in, which not an irrational thought to have based upon the polling and where it was going. But they thought they had figured it out, that there's no way the Democratic Party is going to be responsive to the polls, to the polls that say that they wanted a different candidate. I think that they thought there's no way the Democratic Party could actually even coalesce around something, never mind, do something about it. I think they're extremely frustrated. And also, I think they're frustrated. And you could see it with J.D. Vance when he was talking about, they say everything is racist. The reason why he is laying down that marker, and you're going to hear this a lot, you're going to hear just a generic liberal say everything is racist. And the reason why they're doing this is that they are priming the pump. They are softening the ground, whatever it is. They're, dressing the set. They're getting ready to go racist on this, but they're trying to inoculate themselves.
Getting ready
from the racism. And so they're pissed.
Yeah.
They're angry because they can't let their freak flag fly. And they know it, but they will, but they know they can't. Here's Steven Crowder. He's so mad. And who is he mad at? He's mad at us. He's mad at us because we're not upset about Kamala Harris being the presumptive nominee. Here is Steven Crowder.
What does it take?
I know.
At a certain point, they've labeled half the country Nazis, fascists, Hitler. You're hateful. We have 10 to 15. We have 10 to 20,000 abortions that take place after 22 weeks in this country every single year. Viable babies, where there's no doubt that is happening.
Pause it for 1 second. There are approximately 1 million abortions a year in this country. 1% of them are past 21 weeks. Of
90%,
call the GOP.
90% in the first trimester too. So yeah.
Oh no, 90% even in the first trimester, and then the other.
No, that's pretty.
I have the numbers right here, actually. 21 weeks or after represent 1% of all abortions. 96% occur at or before 15 weeks gestation. 3% occur from 16 to 20 weweeks gestation.
There you go.
Sounds like we better get some Republican politicians involved in healthcare.
Let's also be clear. And that does, at 1 million, comes out to about 10,000 abortions after 21 weeks. They are largely, out of those 10,000, vast majority, fetal anomalies, a maternal health issue, or life endangerment, as well as barriers to care that people couldn't get abortions before then. The idea of, abortions as the baby's about to be born, these are all myths. These are all lies. The fact of the matter is, though, is that this is a problem for Steven Crowder. He doesn't like it. He has a problem with these 10,000 fetuses that are aborted after 21 weeks in the United States every year, because he doesn't like the idea, or he wants to project the idea that women have autonomy. This is a guy who already has complained about no-fault divorces because his wife divorced him, and he knows that she's not allowed to do that.
She can barely have her own car. What do you mean?
Camera, she's not allowed to have her own car and be able to drive when she wants to. She's supposed to be just pregnant in his house. But let's continue.
We have 10 to 20,000 abortions that take place after 22 weeks in this country every single year. Viable babies, where there's no doubt that is happening right now, and no one does that. People say, look, it's very rare. 10 to 20,000 is rare. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the industrialized.
Incidentally, are we up to 1.4 million people died from COVID?
Around that.
But everybody was overreacting. In fact, he's about to go tell everybody about how they overreacted during COVID.
Crowder was saying it was going to be like the flu.
Viable babies, where there's no doubt that is happening right now, and no one does that. People say, look, it's very rare. 10 to 20,000 is rare. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the industrialized world. We've been shut down. Businesses will never recover after COVID.
Pause it for 1 second.
We were
please.
lied to.
Pause it for 1 second. This is pretty easily Googleable. We do not have the highest business. In fact, do we have those charts?
Yeah.
Let's put up a couple of charts. Maximum corporate income tax rate: Germany, Japan, Italy, Canada, France, United States. That's weird. So maybe Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada and France are not considered the industrial world in his mind.
Yeah, Germany, not part of
But let's
Germany
check
and
it.
Japan.
But maybe the point is as a fraction of GDP. Let's go. Let's look at the next one. As a function of GDP. Oh, Japan, Canada, United Kingdom, as a share of GDP, has higher corporate rates than we do. France, Germany, Italy, United States.
Once again, below the OECD average.
Yeah,
and Biden created 15 million jobs. I have many issues with what Biden has done in his presidency, but unemployment is at a very low rate at this point. It's the lowest rate in quite a while. I don't have those numbers in front of me. And the consumer price index dropped. So it's the first, I think, drop on a monthly basis since the start of COVID. So I don't know what he's talking about.
But wait a second. Maybe he's talking about new businesses because new businesses are, could be a problem. I don't know. Let's check in with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Those
new business
Marxists.
applications surge across the country. A record-breaking in 2023, a record-breaking 5.5 million new business applications filed in the United States. Manufacturing, more new manufacturing plants built in the past couple of years than in the decades prior. But let's tune back into Crowder because this is not about him. This is about us.
Mm.
We've been shut down. Businesses will never recover after COVID. We were lied to time and time again. Voices were completely silenced. Your kids were raised in schools where they had to study from home. All traditions and the actual institutions that matter, and by that I don't mean higher education. I mean the institutions that matter as far as classrooms, socializing, extracurricular activities, going to church, all of it.
Pause it for 1 second. My son in public school goes to classrooms. He goes to extracurricular activities. He socializes.
Woke.
Does not go to church. Does not go to church. But his name is Saul.
Did he just...
So, I mean...
Is Steven Crowder against homeschooling? Am I understanding this argument? Like they made us go to... Okay.
No, I feel like it's more anti-remote learning than homeschooling.
But Matt,
what's the difference?
Is about us.
Well,
this is
it's
about
the same
us.
downsides.
I mean, he's sad about socializing. Bro, I don't want you socializing with anybody because apparently, allegedly, you tend to take your testicles out and put it on people's body.
It's called socializing.
Extracurricular activities, going to church, all of it was interfered with, if not outright shut down. And you have an election that is coming up where once it became increasingly clear that enough Americans were rejecting the bullshit that they have been facing for the last 3 years, they decided to cheat and change the game on you, where, my God, you may have no choice in the matter. And you know who should be really mad? If you hate Trump and you were looking for someone else to vote for, boy, should you be pissed, because you should have had a say in that. Doesn't really affect me. I'm voting for it. We're going to vote for Trump anyway. Right. But I can't believe that people on the other side aren't furious. What does it take for you to go, all right, this system is clearly rigged? Also, you used to be banned on social...
Pause it for 1 second. Democrats are overwhelmingly in favor. Is it like 98-2?
Can we put those polls up that I just sent from CBS? And this is literally within 48 hours of Harris becoming the presumptive nominee. overwhelming support for this decision.
The Democratic primary voters voted for the ticket of Biden and Harris. And the idea with the vice president is if the president can't serve, then it goes to the vice president. That's what that's all about. And that's exactly what's happened. Put this up. Biden stepping aside is 83% approved, 17% disapproved. That's going to go that incidentally.
They'll get over it.
Way over.
That's going to change in a week. That number is going to be 90%.
This
in
is
a week.
Yeah.
We just had every party chair in the country endorse her. We just had over 2,000 delegates surveyed endorse her, well over at this point. We've had dozens of unions come out and support her. She just broke fundraising records in 24 hours.
Small dollars on Act Blue. The 2 days she's been officially running in the race, she broke Act Blue's records. Does that not indicate grassroots support? Must be like Crowder's not mad about this.
He's not really upset that there wasn't
1 million donors, 62%, like you say, are first-time donors
in this year. Yeah,
they had never given to the ticket. No, they had never given to the ticket before.
I saw. Oh, to the ticket. Right in 2024. Right, that's what I meant to. Not even in 2020.
I'm not sure, but let's just assume it's this ticket.
Sure.
That indicates 4 months out from an election that these people were not excited by what was happening before, and they are excited now. And that infuriates Crowder. And I got news for you. I'm the only person who you are addressing who's actually listening to you. No other people, no other Democrats, none of them, no other lefties, no other libs. I'm the only one. And I'm not pissed about it. I'm actually happy. Go ahead.
All right, this system is clearly rigged. Also, you used to be banned on social media if you said the system was rigged because of those rigging the system. Think about that for a second. The people who lied and said he was fit, Joe Biden, and lied and said he was going to be the nominee, and lied and said you can't get the virus if you get the mRNA injection, and lied and said that lockdowns work. And this entire time, lied. Also said, you can't say the system is rigged, and told big tech to remove your voice if you insinuated it. And right now, they just pulled a switcheroo on all of their lies to install someone who has received 0 votes from the American public. If at this point you're not mad, at this point you don't acknowledge that the system is rigged,
as mad as you are.
Fuck off. We'll see you tomorrow.
There we go. He's mad. He is mad.
You know, look, I'm all for encouraging more, contentious primaries, even for sitting presidents, which is why I don't think these guys have a leg to stand on, because you know who didn't have a contested primary is Donald Trump in 2020.
Their entire platform was
shut up and support Trump.
Shut up and support Donald Trump. That literally. I mean, I'm not being facetious here. I mean, everybody, we know this, but I mean, I'm not sure everybody knows this. They didn't even have an issue platform. It was just Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Yes, whatever Trump wants.
And I also want to be clear. I don't think that there was anybody lying about Joe Biden. I don't think you schedule, if you are Joe Biden's team, and they were hanging on pretty tightly, as you could see, you don't schedule that debate if you think he can handle it. There was obviously a tremendous amount of drop off between the State of the Union and the debate. And maybe a month or so before the debate, they started to realize, but anybody who knows about this stuff, who's experienced it, knows the way this works. It's not a gradual thing. It goes in spikes. You drop in terms of cognition to a certain level, and then it gets worse. And in the midst of campaigning, when it starts to get intense, the guy's tired. He's doing 2 jobs, essentially, running the country and running for the presidency. And that's a difficult thing to do at that age. But the idea that you got kicked off of social media by saying that Joe Biden's too old, or that you got kicked off of social media by saying, well, I don't know, like when he says rigged, what he's talking about is you got kicked off if you said that the pandemic wasn't real, if people should avoid the vaccine. That's what people got kicked off of, to the extent that
Steven
I know.
Crowder straight up lied about the 2020 election live on YouTube and didn't really face any consequences for it.
Steven Crowder got bounced because he was transphobic
Right.
or anti-gay or racist.
And
that's
then
not
made a
saying it's
horrible
rigged.
business maneuver in which he tried to start his own thing by making public some of the details of the Daily Wire contract, the multi-million-dollar Daily Wire contract he was offered. How are his live numbers doing right now, Matt? I mean, I know you've been checking in on our Rumble fans.
I'll just say, relative to Dan Bongino, he is getting absolutely smacked every single day that he exists on the platform. So,
Fuck off.
Pretty good.
He's mad.
I don't think things are going well.
He's mad. It's
really hard to live a
we
lie.
know there's a
I would
there's
be
a
upset
suit.
too.
We know there's a suit, right? He's got that labor suit that Matt Brunig is representing, a former worker of his. His ex-wife is probably really enjoying her life for the first time in a long time, I would imagine, being away from that guy. He's mad. His business is definitely dropped off. He turned down $100 million deal. He's bummed.
It's tough when you make the wrong call.
Yeah.
And that was right after he got embarrassed.
That's got to be rough. I mean,
And
in some
when
ways,
he
like,
was
I'm not going to.
Your life falls apart.
Getting divorced too, right? Because those pesky laws in Texas allowed his wife to leave him.
It's a real. You got to feel bad for
The vibe in that studio must be,
my God,
like the sixth circle of hell.
Did they have a doll for Biden? Or did they just have a doll with Kamala's face on it because
Well, I think we know the answer to that.
of
Oh, we could be sexually inappropriate at work again, guys.
nice. We can put her on a blow up doll or whatever.
this is
then
fantastic.
they'll be
We're back
thrilled.
in the game, guys.
They'll be thrilled to sexualize her, make racist remarks, and make fun of her laugh. You know, we're gonna redo. It's funny because they did that for Hillary, but that only landed because Hillary was so inauthentic. The Kamala laugh is much more authentic, and whatever. It's just it's gonna be interesting because I think they have a lot of preconceived notions about what it's like to run against a woman based on Trump's success versus Hillary. But Hillary Clinton had a bunch of really, really uniquely bad,
Well, first off,
baggage. Yeah.
There was literally 35 years of cottage industry built up around saying that she was the devil. And there were other issues in terms of like what she actually did in terms of like her campaign, the way she ran the campaign, what perspective they had on who they were going to sort of build as a constituency. I mean, on and on and on. But
and it's almost like Harris has the opposite problem because she's going to be struggling to define herself in 3 months.
Yep.
But it helps to have a bunch of grassroots enthusiasm from the base and a lot of money to go with it.
Hey, so we all remember the Supreme Court's ruling on Trump's presidential immunity case. Well, get this. The leader of the Heritage Foundation think tank has said the second American Revolution will be bloodless if the left allows it to be. All sparked by the Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity. Well, Ground News found nearly 50 sources reporting on it with zero coverage coming from the right. Why? Well, going through these articles, you can see most of them tie this project to Trump. Like this report from the DCCC writing Trump's so-called Project 2025 manifesto advocates for a nationwide abortion ban, quote, silencing his political enemies and more. With presidential elections not too far away, this is an extremely important story, and you wouldn't know about it unless you intentionally diversify where you get your news from, which is why Ground News created their blind spot feed. It's to surface major stories with little reporting coming from either the right or the left. Our longtime sponsor really simplifies empowering yourself with knowledge so we're fully aware where our information is coming from and how that influences our reporting or lack thereof. An important mission under our current political climate. Best of all, they're offering my viewers 40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan that gets me access to all their features. So head to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to help support an independent news platform working towards a more transparent media landscape.